Now we got some updates on the King and Queen of the Ring. Asuka is back. She made her return to the ring, her first match back Monday night since Backlash last year. 13 months later, she's back. She beat Stephanie Vicaire, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile to advance to the semifinals, where she pinned Alexa Bliss on Smackdown Friday night, which means that she is going to the finals to meet the winner of the match tomorrow night between Jade Cargill and Roxanne Perez. Now, on the men's side, Jey Uso outlasted Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev to advance to the semifinals tomorrow night. He's going to be taking on Cody Rhodes. And this past Friday on SmackDown, Randy Orton pinned Sami Zayn, which for me was a mild surprise. I can't ever say that Randy Orton winning is a surprise, but it was a mild surprise for me. I thought Sami would at least go to the finals, even if he didn't win the entire thing, that they would want him in Saudi in that match. I still think there's a good chance his path is a Royal Rumble win in Saudi next year, and he wins that first world title at WrestleMania. They're playing it up too much on TV for that not to be his story. You know, they did it again Friday night. You know, I'm the only one in the ring right now that's not been a world champion, and I'm going to be a champion. And even Randy Orton said, I believe one day you're going to be a champion. It's just not going to be SummerSlam. SummerSlam's not going to be that day, he said. But they keep bringing this up on television for it not to be, I think, his story going into WrestleMania next year. Now, that leads us into Night of Champions, which is set for next Saturday in Riyadh with a 1 o'clock Eastern start time. Let's run this card down and do predictions. First, though, we actually have some title matches on SmackDown this Friday in Riyadh, less than 24 hours earlier. Zelina Vega is going to defend the Women's United States Championship against Julia. Julia has not been on the main roster for very long, and here she is challenging for a championship. I said this even, and if you're going to say, well, you know, I mean, hey, Solomonster, I mean, what has she done to earn a title shot? Well, I'll tell you what she's done. I said this even before Julia had her Money in the Bank qualifier, that I would have her pin Zelina Vega in that match to qualify. That way, coming out of Money in the Bank, which I never expected her to win, she has a claim to challenge for the U.S. title because she pinned the champion. And that's exactly what they did, and here we are. And if you're going to have champions get pinned on TV, then the person who pins them should get a championship match. And this should be a title change. By the way, I had a good laugh when I saw the video. You may not have seen it. They put it up as an exclusive on their social media channel yesterday. WWE put this, it's not even a video package. They basically filmed dueling promos backstage. So they had one from Julia, and then they cut to one from Zelina, cutting promos on each other. This did not air on SmackDown for some inexplicable reason. 3 fucking hours, they couldn't find time for this. So they used subtitles for Julia's promo. And she spoke some English at the end, and she actually sounded very good. But for the Japanese portion, they had subtitles. And the part where she spoke Japanese, she said at one point, "The championship means a lot to you. It doesn't to me." I was like, that woman is being honest. That's what she's being in this promo. You know, Zelina talks about the title and protects it with her life. And this woman is out there flat out saying, I don't care about the U.S. title. You know, to her, she says it's just a stepping stone, which it is. But just to say that out loud, I just wasn't expecting that. All the more reason for her to win it. She can make it really mean something. So I think she wins the U.S. title. We have the Street Profits defending the WWE Tag Team Championship against the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. It's too soon to put the belts on Gacy and Lumis, and after that last match they had against Sabin and Shelley a couple weeks ago, it was not very good. Maybe they're just, you know, a little rusty because it's not like they've gotten a lot of ring time recently. That was not a great match, though. It definitely does not feel like the right time for this. The Profits will retain. The Profits haven't even had it that long. Street Profits are going to retain. And then in a last woman standing match for the WWE Women's Championship, it'll be Tiffany Stratton defending against Nia Jax. Now, I've gone back and forth on whether or not Naomi cashes in her Money in the Bank here. For sure, if they close the show with this match, I think she does. But my prediction is that regardless, I think Naomi is cashing in successfully on Tiffany Stratton this Friday to win the women's championship. I think they do the women's cash in on Friday, and I think they save the men's cash in either for Saturday night's main event or for SummerSlam. And that leads us into Night of Champions, which is currently 5 matches. We have Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles. Dominic winning, I think, is the outcome here. I have him retaining the title, although it is nice to see AJ challenging for a championship for a change. We have the Queen of the Ring final. It will be Asuka on one side, challenging either Jade Cargill or Roxanne Perez. We'll know after tomorrow night. Jade is likely winning tomorrow, since we already have a Raw talent in the finals. I think they would want to have one from Raw, one from SmackDown here. I would love to see Asuka against Io at SummerSlam for the women's world title. They can still do that even if Asuka does not win this match. I'm going with Jade. I think we're getting Queen Jade. That's my prediction. I was going to go with Asuka, but I don't see them having Jade lose to her, not without help from someone. But the reason I was considering Asuka really was a Raw star is due for a big win. I was thinking about this. Look at what we have had so far this year. Charlotte Flair, a SmackDown talent, wins the Royal Rumble. Bianca Belair, a SmackDown talent, wins the Elimination Chamber, even though she ended up challenging for the Raw title at WrestleMania. Naomi, another SmackDown talent, wins Money in the Bank. They're winning all of these things. It feels like it's time for the red team to get a win. But I'm going to stick with Jade on this one, right? That's assuming she gets past Roxanne tomorrow night. If for some reason she doesn't get past Roxanne, which would shock me, then I would go with Asuka over Roxanne in the final. So here's how I've got it mapped out. Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. You tell me what you think. Naomi cashes in successfully on Tiffany this Friday. She wins the title. Jade wins Queen of the Ring. She challenges Naomi at SummerSlam. And Bianca Belair screws Jade Cargill out of the championship by going heel and realigning with Naomi. I was not sold on them actually doing it and turning Bianca heel, but the more I think about this scenario, I can fuck with it. We have the United States Championship on the men's side being defended by Jacob Fatu. He's putting his title on the line against Solo Sikoa. This is a match I thought we might get at WrestleMania. And if not WrestleMania, we might get it at Backlash. But we're finally getting it here. They set the angle up on Friday night. Where Jimmy Uso stands in all this, because we saw Jimmy Uso come out to make the save when, Jacob was getting attacked by JC Mateo and Solo, and Jacob shared a glare with Jimmy. Is Jimmy going to go heel? I hope not. I don't know where Jimmy fits. Jimmy is he's lost, right? They say Roman Reigns is on the island of relevancy. I think Jimmy is on Gilligan's Island, and nobody's found him yet. I don't know what's going on with him, but we have heard the reports. We've seen the video clips on social media of Hikuleo finally reemerging, like the sea monster. He's been hiding, and now he's reemerged. And he has had, I think it was a match for main event last week, and this week it might have been a dark match. He hasn't been on television yet. But the fact that he has reemerged and he's getting in the ring tells you that they obviously have a plan to finally debut him on TV. And I think it happens here. And I think what has to happen is that Solo Sikoa needs to win this first match. Solo Sikoa needs to win the United States Championship. And I think he wins the United States Champion. I know he's got JC Mateo, but I think he gets the assist from the newest member of the bloodline, Hikuleo. Whether they call him Hikuleo or Tala Tonga, whatever they want to call him. I think he debuts here. And I think he helps Solo win the title. And then Jacob has to not only chase to get the belt back, but in the interim, he's got to go through these other bloodline members before he can get back to Solo, whether that's SummerSlam or Clash in Paris or whenever it may be. I don't see this story ending here. And if Jacob beats him, it's over. If he beats him, it's over. There's no reason to prolong this. So I don't know why you would just have him go in there and beat Solo straight up. That's why I think Solo wins the belt. And we have the King of the Ring final. Randy Orton has punched his ticket. We already know he's going to be in this match. He was in the finals last year of the King of the Ring, and he lost to Gunther. So he's getting a second chance this year. He's getting a second chance to lose. Because whoever is going to be on the other side of the ring from him is winning King of the Ring. And that's either going to be Cody Rhodes or it's going to be Jey Uso. I got Cody Rhodes winning this thing. Cody and Jey are having their match, semifinal match, on Raw tomorrow night. Not that I'm sure they wouldn't love to have Jey Uso in Saudi Arabia, but I find it hard to believe they would not have Cody Rhodes on that show. I think Cody wins. I think what we're looking at here is a straight line. You don't have to overthink it. I think we get King Cody. He uses the crown as a way to guarantee himself a rematch with John Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. All roads lead to the Cody Cena rematch. And the thing about this, if we get Cody and Randy, which is a match I've been waiting for them to do, and I think there's a very good chance we're going to get it next weekend, you can use this match and a Cody win as a catalyst for a longer feud between them. Maybe after Cody wins the belt back. Yeah, once Cody is done with John Cena then can begin his babyface turn. And we can move on to Cody and Randy. But whatever happens here in the finals, if Randy loses to Cody, you can use that as the catalyst to whatever comes next. Whether Randy goes heel or whatever. They just continue a friendly feud, whatever it looks like. That's how I see this playing out. Could Jey Uso win? Could Jey Uso beat Cody and wrestle Randy Orton next weekend? Yeah. But I mean, to me, that's the least compelling match that they could do. I don't really have any interest in seeing that. And I don't see Randy Orton winning. So if Jey Uso goes to the finals, that means he probably wins. And so what are we looking at? Are we looking at Jey Uso against Gunther again at WrestleMania? God forbid. SummerSlam? Is Seth Rollins going to cash in during Goldberg and Gunther, as I mentioned earlier? Is a possibility. And then he wins the world title on Saturday night's main event, and we get Seth and Jey. That I could see. That's why I can't sit here and say, oh, Cody's of course going to win. No, there's, I don't want to say 50-50. I say 60-40. I would go 60-40 as far as my confidence level in Cody winning tomorrow night, but I'm still sticking with Cody. I think Cody gets the nod. He goes to the finals and he wins the entire thing. And then for one last time, most likely, I guess we can't be sure, but most likely for the final time, John Cena and CM Punk will step into the ring against each other one-on-one. This is going to be their first singles match since 2013, when they had that match to decide who was going on to WrestleMania to challenge The Rock for the WWE Championship. And we know how that turned out. We got to see them interact a little bit in the Elimination Chamber earlier this year. And for those few minutes, they recaptured some of that magic because these two have had some classic matches before. Now, John Cena was in the ring against R-Truth on Smackdown Friday night. They had an absolute nothing match. They had a 5-minute throwaway match that ended on a disqualification, just the lamest shit you can imagine. CM Punk came out when it was over. Cena laid him out. He gave him an attitude adjustment through a Slim Jim table in the ring. And as CM Punk slept in the middle of the ring and took a nap, he went Betty bye for a little bit. John Cena took the microphone. He didn't go to the stage. He just sat on top of one of the turnbuckles in the corner. And he proceeded to cut his version of CM Punk's pipe bomb. He reenacted the pipe bomb. He borrowed some of the verbiage from the original pipe bomb, which, ironically, when the pipe bomb promo happened, it came right after a John Cena R-Truth match on Raw in 2011. And so history has a funny way of repeating itself here. But some of the things that Cena said during this promo, he mentioned, you're no longer the voice of the voiceless. You're a friggin' millionaire. You're not Punk. You're capitalist. You're not against TKO, dude. You're Mr. TKO. In Saudi Arabia, you're going to face some loud music when I finally prove to the world, no days off for 25 years, that I have been the greatest of all time. And the fans know that you were the best in the world for 7 minutes, 14 years ago. And if after Night of Champions you're still delusional enough to believe that you are the best in the world, well, I guess it's a small world after all. Thanks for letting me rip off your promo to make you look even more foolish. Those really were the key takeaways from this. Everybody's going to be all hung up on him mentioning Claudio Castagnoli and mentioning Nick Nemeth and mentioning Matt Cardona. And why did he pick them? Is it because, Matt and Nick and Claudio, Claudio Castagnoli, CC, because he didn't call him Cesaro. Called him Claudio Castagnoli, CC. It's like Colt Cabana. Like, everyone's a detective now. Everyone's trying to figure this out. That's not even the biggest takeaway from this promo. The parts that I just mentioned really were the key takeaways. I'm not going to, and nor did I on Friday night. I didn't glaze this in the way that a lot of other people did. There was a lot of people saying this was the promo of the year and maybe the promo of the decade, and we're back, baby. Heel Cena finally, and all this stuff. And it's like, this was nothing earth-shattering. Like, it was good. It was a good promo. It was a knockoff of the original Pipe Bomb. Only this time it was Cena throwing it back in Punk's face for being a hypocrite. And that aspect of it I liked. For turning into the very thing, and this was the key takeaway here, turning into the very thing that he once hated, that he once despised. That's what they're doing with this story of Punk having to chase Cena all the way to Saudi Arabia if he wants to challenge for the WWE Championship. Punk has to be a hypocrite if he wants to get Cena in the ring for that title. It's a very clever way of getting Punk on that show, and storyline-wise, giving him a reason, even though the comments he's made in the past. Why is he going to Riyadh? Well, because it's the only way that he can get John Cena in the ring and get a shot at the WWE Championship. CM Punk brings out the best in John Cena. John Cena brings out the best in CM Punk. I've said before, it's the fact that they are so polar opposite that just makes this work. What we get from these two may be the peak, frankly, of this John Cena heel turn, which has been very underwhelming. It's been very paint-by-number stuff otherwise. You will never convince me otherwise. This heel run so far has been a huge letdown. Could he redeem it with this? Yeah, well, I mean, it may be over after next weekend, but like I said, this may be the peak of it. If they go back to Cena and Cody and we get more of the same from those two, it's hard for me to imagine, that being all that different from, what they did on the road to WrestleMania. This may be the peak of this John Cena heel turn. But the thing is, this should have been their big summer program heading into SummerSlam. This should not have been rushed for Night of Champions. And maybe it will be. Maybe they will run this back at SummerSlam. Let's say the King of the Ring winner ends up coming from Raw and challenges. Let's say that Jey Uso goes. I'm wrong, and Jey Uso goes to the finals and he beats Randy Orton, right? And they do Jey Uso against Gunther, Jey Uso against Seth, right? If Seth cashes in, then you can still, on SmackDown, set things up with Cena and Punk, even though Punk's a Raw guy, but that doesn't seem to really make much of a fucking difference anymore. So who's to say we don't get John Cena and CM Punk one more time at SummerSlam, right? You could theoretically do that. But then I don't know what you do with Cody Rhodes. Seems very unlikely to me. What I can tell you, though, is that CM Punk is not winning the WWE Championship. John Cena will be leaving Riyadh as he enters it as the undisputed WWE Champion. So those are my predictions for Night of Champions. I will be live on YouTube next Saturday after the show is over for the full review immediately after, so join me then. We'll have some fun.